What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Newage Rhedosaurus, their version of a legend scale sludge. This was sent to me by Matt Parsformer. Thanks, Matt, for sending this for review. He's been sending a lot of stuff lately, so I definitely want to send something his way as a thank you. But let's take a look at this. It is fully painted, pretty much. The darker gray, the silver up here, the tech paint you see here, with the gray, or the black, red, and yellow. Yellow on the head. You got some darker gray here on the hip joints. On the back you got some gunmetal with blue accents. Lighter gray with the darker gray along the edge. I haven't seen a lot of companies do that, so it just looks good. Here's the bottom. It's very clean. Overall, a really impressive looking Dinobot. Let's take a look at his articulation. Starting at the head, the neck can go up to there, down to there. You can open up the mouth up to there. You can rotate. This is on a ball joint here, so this gets movement all the way around, which is nice. I haven't seen a lot of Dinobots approach this way. And then the lower neck joint also is on a ball joint, so you can get some nice movement out of that neck because of the design. And you can rotate it as well, so that really works pretty darn well. Going to the legs, you have a rotation joint here. Out to the side, the foot can rotate back and forth, and then the toe itself can also rotate, probably for transformation, but same for the back leg. You can rotate up and down, you can rotate in and out. You can bend at the knee, and the toes will go back and forth. All the tolerances are pretty nicely done. Coming to the tail, you have 1, 2, 3 joints, so you can swing it all the way back and forth. It does have a couple of features here which kind of work with the accessories, but if you open up his head here, there's a little rotating gimmick, so you can rotate the eyes. You want to get it perfectly straight, so get this so that the front is aligned, and then put that back down, and now he's got the red eyes. That's pretty cool. You can just change it out like that, nice and easy. But opening this back up for a second, you can also use this googly eye accessory. You're just going to slide this over and just make sure you get both sides on. And then put that back down, and now you can have this look. It does look like he's wearing a set of googly eyes instead of actually having googly eyes, right? Because it's got the little bar. But I still appreciate the effort to allow you to have the scene. You know, you can put his arms down and he can be like this. And man, they really nailed the look. I'll try to put the image there if I can find it, but very good, very good. All right, let's take that back out. We can also grab these, which are yellow claws if you prefer the yellow over this. My personal preference, and this isn't mine, so I'm not going to change it out anyway, but the painted gray looks very nice. I don't think there's any reason to change it. If you really wanted this, you'd have to remove these pins. So this isn't my figure. I'm not going to remove the pins. I'm not going to take this off. But I did want to show you, it's nice that they included this. You can swap these out if you prefer. And for a quick size comparison, there he is next to the Newage Skyfire and their Optimus Prime trailer. So obviously not the biggest, but a pretty big alt mode here for Rhedosaurus. Alright, now let's get him transformed into his robot mode. And I do recommend having a spudger handy because there's a couple of parts where you need to separate. Starting right away with the backpack. But first we're going to open these up. These are actually on sliders. So when you open them, you're going to collapse them down for the toes. Same on this side. Open this up and then collapse this down. That makes his feet. We're going to separate this backpack, and this is where I recommend a spudger, just to get in and separate these pieces from each other. Actually works easier if you separate from the bottom, but you're going to pull these out to the side. These are the legs, obviously. We can fold in on this, fold in on this, and we're going to fold this piece out. You got to fold at this joint, not the outer joint, the inner joint. Fold that all the way in. Now you need to take this and rotate the leg 180 degrees like that. And I'm going to open up this here. Come to the outside, we can fold down the toes. This is going to come in here. It only fits a certain way, so just make sure you line that up. Right? And bring that back down. That's just going to sit right there. Bring down this panel here. This is going to come inwards on a hinge. So basically you're pushing it inward like that. And then we're going to take this tail piece that's going to come down in here. This is going to come over and sit on top of the tail. Fold out this piece for the back of the leg. There's a tab right there that's going into a slot. Moving this tab from the outer slot to the inner slot. So get that lined up and tab that in. And on the front, you're going to tab this in. It looks like it already tabbed in on its own. And straighten up the leg, bring this down. All right, so that's one leg done. And I'll try again on the other side. All right, so when you're all done with the legs, it should look like this. It actually holds this panel in. Really ingenious design there on the legs. All right, let's continue. We're going to open up these panels here. So separate this whole panel. You can straighten up the legs and then straighten up that chest panel. So it should look like this. Rotate the waist 180 degrees so it ends up on the other side. And we'll take care of all this. So we're going to pull the head out from here. This is going to rotate up. And this whole panel is going to rotate upwards. And then you can bring the rest down. I'm going to take these legs out of here. And these are going to fold the small toe down first, then the big toe on top. Then we're going to rotate this inside the arm so it fits like that. And then this is going to end up sitting inside here. You rotate the arm so it fits this way. You can bring this whole panel in, but first we got to do the other side. So rotate that up, rotate this in, rotate that down, and then rotate the arm to the outside. All right, before we get the backpack together, we're going to lift this up and get these wings folded out of here. And now we can get this kind of into the backpack. And there's two pegs here that are going to go into the slots on the side, and then there's a peg here that's going to go into the side of here, and then this slot is going to go in here. So you got to get all that kind of at the same time. So line this up, bring this down, kind of take a look and make sure you're getting all those pegs at the same time. It'll lock in on the bottom and the top if you got it right. All right, rotate this up and then close that panel down. Same on this one, rotate this up, close that panel down, and that'll hold the arms in place. For the neck, you can actually just rotate this panel 180 degrees, and you can actually see where the seam is. So you know where to rotate to. There's a seam right here. Same for this lower neck. You can see a seam. That's kind of the indicator how far to go. And you can just leave the head like that. They don't show that in instructions, but I think that makes more sense to fold the head down and away out of visibility. Bring the wings back so they sit just like that on the outside. Come to the front here. We'll take care of these. Open these up, which are actually different feet than his Dinobot, so that's interesting the way they did that transformation. Alright, and there we have Rhedosaurus in his robot mode. And it looks really, really good. Let's put the cartoon image up there so you can see how it looks compared to that, but very, very nicely done. They somehow, it's a very different transformation than the MPs, just the way they do it. And I kind of like it. I kind of like how it looks. Here's the back. You have the head kind of sandwiched between the two. And you know, in the instructions, they don't show to flip this around. I prefer it this way because I think it looks better. But of course, you can do whatever you like. But yeah, really, really, really nice looking. Let's go over the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, so it gets all the way up, down to there, rotates around, and you get the side to side. It is painted, so the head is basically fully painted, the silver, the gray, and the blue for the eyes. That looks really good. For the arms, they'll rotate around on a friction joint. Actually, everything's friction joints, so I might as well just not mention it. Shoulders go up to there. Interesting, disc joint there, the way they did it. You have a rotation at the elbow. You have a double jointed elbow. Really cool how they work that in. I like how that works. Rotation at the wrist. The fists are just on a peg, so you can take these off. And we can actually replace these with these hands if you prefer open hands. And these have in and out articulation on that pin, on that peg. Continuing down, you have rotation at the waist. You have ab crunch. It does kind of click into place right there, but it gets all the way down to there. These wings can move in and out, so you can move them forward and backward and in and out. Me personally, I think it looks best folded all the way in, but you can do that however you like. The legs are on the hip skirts that move with the leg. I really like how they do that. Goes up to there. Nice tolerances on these, by the way. Back to there. And there is a hip skirt here on the back. So if you move that out of the way, you can get the leg all the way up. And you get out to the side. That one's a little bit on the loose side. You get a rotation at the thigh. You get a single jointed knee, but the way it's designed, it gets you all the way to there, so it's pretty nice. That's well done. You have toe tilt, not really an ankle tilt here, the way it's built. This is kind of solidified in place, but you can tilt the toe to kind of fake it. So, I mean, he can get pretty far out, and it's still convincing because of those toes. As far as his accessories, you can replace the other hand with these, so you have two open hands like that. But if you want to use the gun, you're going to need this hand. So we can use this. Got a little bit of yellow paint on the end. That'll fit into here, and now you can blast some Decepticons, and it looks really good. Really nicely done. I think you can also swap the feet. Maybe they're meant for this. Actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I mentioned it during the dyno mode, but it's probably meant for this. So you can swap these out. Maybe it's for either one, but again, I'm not going to swap them out because you need to remove the pin, but nice that they gave you the option to have the yellow if you prefer. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Newage Optimus Prime. Yeah, these guys are nice and big, tower over him. Makes sense, and will look good as a set of Dinobots as well. So final recommendations on the Newage Rhedosaurus. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. I'm going to give it a strong recommendation. I think this is a really good version of Sludge. The dyno mode and raw mode look absolutely incredible. Fully painted with the exception to the thighs and the waist here, which I didn't mention earlier. The overall articulation is very well done in both the dyno mode and the robot mode. Accessories work. I like the gun and the alternate hands if you prefer them. It's nice that they included this, although I would never swap them out. It's nice that you have them just because they're not painted, so I wouldn't put these on. Kind of makes it a little cheap. And then, of course, you get the googly eyes, which is kind of a neat, fun accessory for displaying him with Devastator. But the only complaint I really have on this guy would be a little bit of looseness here on this outer movement. It is a pin joint. Pretty much everything is a pin joint. So, tightening things is going to require using some floor polish, but it still works. I mean, it's a very, very, very minor complaint. So, yeah, really good version. Probably the best version of Sludge. Now, too bad it can't translate to MP scale, but I do think it's a really, really good version. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.